keeping an eye out.
Get out of
Nice
here!
and quiet.
Alright, so that's Brackenbury. Since we're here, we may as well go to this place.
Laying low.
Finish this quest up. I might call it there today, actually.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Dog prediction. So the knights. An inn in there, that'd be nice. What business brings you to Crete?
Gods keep you.
Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch. It does. You look like you've recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights. I'm proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Clyver can focus on more important matters. Looking for shopping or just knocking the dirt off your boots? What goes on? This is the headquarters for the Crucible Knights. So it's where we store arms and armor as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Clyver's in the back, making plans as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building, along with our mastersmith Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem. If you're the playing golem. We are the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Clyver I said that. We were the first organised militia to oppose Edoran rule, and today we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by the critter out in Dire Roll. What's this about trying to just a requirement for the Crucible Knights, so the higher ups know that there's nothing messy built in your soul's path. Aldmar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful when hiring their ciphers. What's wrong with the ciphers? He shifts his weight and glances at the empty halls. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Excuse me, holy moly. Hostility is in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? It seems like an extreme position to take. I'm just speaking the truth nowadays. It seems that's the biggest crime of all. Well, it's somewhat, but you know, you don't need to be a douchebag about it. Okay.
Steady does it.
I've got to kill someone apparently. I've got to kill someone. How far from the Queen? That's where I've got to go there. Okay, so. Rogue Knight. Okay, fine. Horse like a trainer at the Exposition Hall in Copperlane told me that the breastplate would be somewhere in the Crucible Keep in First Fires. He also mentioned that Penhelm, the keeper of the armory, was one of the horses. keep to him till last then, I suppose. Wyla. Oh, I've got to speak to this person. Don't I? Heard that name. I never heard that name. The Justiciar's gaze flicks over to you briefly before returning to the Noviots gathered in the training area. If this is about patrols, my Noviots are already stretched to the limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have... Oh, right. So, that's who I want to speak to. Okay. After a pause, she looks over at you. I'm sorry. Was there something else you needed? Is something wrong at Heritage Hill? What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there. And yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumours that the place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. She shakes her head. It's just as soon I ban the district. But if those monsters should find a way out... tell me about Heritage Hill. It used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago, the residents went all mad. Started eating each other and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now even at Noviots that stand guard there, every one of that comes back anyway talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. That's why the why and the how are questions for the Animancers. I sealed the districts and hoped on containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working for now. What did you do? I'm in charge of the keep's Noviots. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathered in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. You said earlier that someone was wrong at Heritage Hill. What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one. Oh, I've already done this. I could look into it for you. After what I've just been told, you want to go into Heritage Hill. I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? What's the harm of letting me try? If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. She quietly looks on at the Noviots, and if you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards at the gate. We'll be doing that at some point as well. Shrine, War, Barracks, Forge. Take it, it's going to be the Forge.
Let's see what lies this way.
This edict calls for the arrest of Ern, whose recent actions have led to the death of a Knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justiciar Aldmar. It is signed Commander Clyver. Signed Earl. Penhelm's affidavit. Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Outtro, Does hereby certify that no Fate A.M. Penhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influences or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dear Dunwood Row and signed by both Plymouth and Cullen. Logan Knights.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
The find him. Logan Knights. The lineage ones. Well, it's not a forgery, is it? Unless I speak to somebody at Durham Row. Speak to somebody at Durham Row to figure out who this actual person is. It's a symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed over a circular gear. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils. I have to put something on that. Foreign barracks.
Yeah. I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment. I'll have it in no time.
Everything
The
there,
work
Dan.
of a moment. I'll see what I can do.
Kill your
I'll see what I can
shit.
do. Of a moment.
Kill your shit.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
What did I get? I got something. What was that? I clicked too fast. Clicked too fast and didn't know what it was. Was that what it was? Section. Forger, so I want to enter the forge last. See that he was in the forge. Was he?
Hello? Hello? We just don't have the manpower. refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
Okay, is there a way... I'll get experience, I suppose, eh? What's your thing? Always refreshing to meet someone who'd rather fix a problem than complain about it. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an Animacy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights. Warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience or fear. Some agitator throws a rock at them, we don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armour, but we need the scholar's research. Fortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Yet Viviana lives with the rest of the Skiveniers out in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise. Once you brought him the research, you can sell you any arms or armour you have need for. He forges and repairs all our equipment. You'll find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. So you're in charge? Here in Defiance Bay, anyway. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and keep order to the dock. Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in Deerwood, for that matter. We defended the city in Hydrix Day. We've improved our training since then, but Deerwood can certify that many of our officers come from Deerwoodian fighting stock. Now we are responsible for patrolling the city and keeping peace with so many refugees pouring into the countryside. That's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens of some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. So that's the Dorians or the other ones. What do the dozens have against you? He snorts. They're demagoguers and troublemakers. They'll forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not just some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, there's no patience for law and order. Tell me about these enterprising families. House Dominel, namely. They're one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organisations. Their patriarch, Gidmar, has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We've kept on top of him, but he hasn't been too happy about that. Of the armory. Armory here is just a forger. I'm looking for information on Earl. He crosses his arms and spits. Filthy little flea picker. What do you want to know? Do you know where he is? Rumours say he fled the catacombs after he murdered the knight. As much as I love to string him up, I don't have anyone I can spare to go crawling in that filth to check him. How did you manage to kill a Knight of the Crucible? Now there's the question. Witnesses say he was drunk and arguing with the man. If I had guessed, I'd say the sneaky bastard had a weapon on him and took the Justiciar by surprise. The cupboard ran off before anyone knew what he'd done. Right, what can I do for you? Unwanted. Going in the catacombs anyway. So.
Aye? The work of a moment.
Ah, there's Felden there. But he is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Dunstan. Go over back to him. Maybe try and find this Kareen. And if I can, I'll probably just come back here anyway. And see what happens. So I'll keep the save here just so I know. Songs. Yep.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Clyver they won't be repaired till next week.
Oh, I could show him that. I'll just go through the other options, then go back over to that.
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
Else in your mind? Tell me about the
We
Knights.
were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Clyver takes more pride in our parade formations.
Commander Clyver says you were working with Animaster to build forges.
So much for his talk of secrecy. Aye, I'm building Cleaver's metal warriors. He says they're what we need to keep order in Defiance Bay, so...
So he's not happy about this. So how are you creating these forge knights? Suits of armour and souls. Clyver's had me repairing and reinforcing unused armour for months now, just so we can fill them with some pure sod's essence. How are you getting the essence then? As long as that scholar's girl's got her numbers right, fusing the armour with a soul won't be that hard, but that's not what bothers me. I need to sneeze, I think. Nope. And you need Vivian's research to complete it. She's been working out a method to transfer the souls into the armour. Getting the process just right is crucial. She holds up one hand. Bind the souls too tightly and you've got something like those flesh constructs at the sanatorium. Barely bright enough to avoid walking into a wall. So they're having something done at the sanitarium. I think we're going to have a look at the sanitarium. He raises his other hand. But bind them too loosely and they're be too self-aware for their own good. Mad killers and metal bodies. Do you disagree with Clyver about the Force Knights? I disagree with him on dear about everything, and this is no exception. These Force Knights won't solve our manpower problem. He can call them what he wants, but they aren't knights. It doesn't take Oop's nose to smell the trouble here. A group that can't stand together is headed for a fall. Yeah, that's true. He folds his arms and looks at the ground. And don't get me started on the other problem. Those souls he's brought to power, the Force Knights. Clyver keeps telling himself that they came from willing donors, but he knows better. There's a reason you have to buy souls through less than legal channels. We should be clearing those scavengers off the road not doing business with them. Yeah. Clearly that is what it is. So they've taken the souls from the highborn place. About the knights. If only. And I'm going to show him the blade. That's a fine blade indeed. He holds one fragment in his rough hands. Looks Edict, special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt too. It would be a shame to graft anything else onto it, but besides, it will balance best with all the original pieces. You find the rest of it? I'll forge it.
Calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Not quiet at all. Right. So,
Welcome.
the young Novice's armour is recently shined and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? Tell me about the Knights of Crucible. We are the primary defenders of Divine Spade, the Order's founders. We are the first to rally the Deerwoodian independence. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches his nose up. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. How does someone become a knight? We don't just I did it again. I'm missing that. I'm missing that. We don't take just anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the ferrymen and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weights and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Clyver is responsible for initiations, but he really accepts foreigners. Does the name Orsic sound familiar? If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the Expedition Hall for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, the lot of them. What's the story between? Orsic has always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. Frowns and crosses his hands. He felt he went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had stayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble Ederian nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. Paper seal, he would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. I don't see the problem. The history made the Knights what they are now. You can't just cast it aside. What good comes from sentimentality? We've overgrown the past. Sometimes we need to move on. Outgrown it like an old sealskin coat. You adapt with the times. Sure, that's a bit naive. Is your affidavit at a forgery? Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. What with his pedigree in the night? He folds his hand. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. Is that breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down and admires. It's become property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armour that was used in the rebellion. Enough about Orsic. Or that we can agree.